So I know I look really weird right now. Well, maybe you don't think I look weird, I don't know. But I think I look weird, and that's because I didn't do my brows. It was so hard, I kept reaching for my brow stuff. I was like, no, don't do the brows. Anyways, I want to show you guys how I do my brows today. Honestly, I do them different pretty much every single day, just, you know, tweaked a little bit. I have filmed a brow tutorial in the past. It was honestly, I think it was like my 4th video I ever posted, so my technique has changed a lot since then. I do it completely differently, and yeah, let's just get right into the video. Yeah, like I said, just ignore, like, I'm trying to not tweeze my brows, and I'm trying to keep them kind of woodlandy. So I'm trying to, you know, grow them out. I'm still using the same product, actually, just in a different color. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow, which is just a pomade or a pomade. I never know how to say it correctly, like, seriously. I feel like everyone says it differently. Anyways, I'm using the Dip Brow by Anastasia. This is in the shade Granite, which is basically just black. Obviously, I matched to my hair color, and I have pretty dark brow hairs anyways, so not a huge deal. I also use the Anastasia number 12 brush. It doesn't even have anything on here anymore. This is like my holy grail brow brush. I don't think my brows would look the way they would without this brush. So, I love this brush. What can I say? It's very thin. All right, so first thing I do is just dip into the dip brow. And the one thing about dip brow is that it's so pigmented and it's so much, so I immediately wipe away on the corners, and I wind up having to clean this dip brow all the time because it gets so filled with extra products that I don't use. So there's hardly anything on this brush right now. So like I said, don't mind my dark circles and everything in my pores. I've been so sick recently, it's just horrible, like one thing after the next. All right, so like I said, I dipped that in and then I took off the product. So as you can see, there's literally, actually there's probably too much on there, so I'm gonna take that off. So now can you see, whoop, there's really hardly anything on this brush. So first thing I do always is spoolie this out. So what I'm doing is just kind of creating a very subtle line from the, I don't like to start at the very front because typical Instagram brows have a fade to them, and I actually go by that. So I usually start like a little bit in, just where the thickness, where the hairs get a little bit heavier, and I create a line. But it's a very subtle line. I don't want this line to be seen, but it kind of just creates a, it's like color in the lines type thing, you know. So now this is where I create the bottom shape. As you can see, I don't really have too much hair right there, but I like to fill it in, and I'm still only creating that one line, and I take that line all the way down. I really stayed with the shape of my brow. I didn't really go out. I know last time I did a tutorial with my brows, I really went like out of the lines with my brows, but that's because I was still shaping. So if you're interested in seeing that video, I'll definitely link it down below. It's totally different because I had way less brow hairs back then. By now, I already kind of have the shape down of my brow, so I kind of just continually follow that shape. Go over, it's so hard to talk while I'm doing this, I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna kind of go over that line and just make sure it's all pretty opaque. So now I have, like, with whatever is left over on that brush, I did not dip in again. I did a couple times to create that line, but now I'm not dipping in, and I start going up, making hair-like strokes, but very subtly because I want it to be. And I always make sure to go in the direction of the hairs aside from when I'm creating my tail and when I create that first line. So now I have that bottom part filled in. Now I'm gonna do the top part. This is when I create my wing. So as you can see right here, I have hairs that go down and then it kind of gets really sparse right here. So I'm going to fill that in, and since these are Instagram brows, I'm going to keep it very sharp and not very real looking. Like, I'm really not gonna go for like a hair-like stroke. I'm gonna start right where the hair ends, and I'm just gonna kind of like ferociously go for it and connect it to the other line. So now at this point, I basically just fill it in, only the tail though. All right, so as you can see now, I have a really big gap right here. So, and my hairs do grow down right here. So I usually take what's left over and just kind of brush that through pretty lightly. I still haven't put anything in the center right here, and I still haven't brushed this out with the spoolie. So this is a clean spoolie. The one on the brush that I was using just got like really gunky, so I'm using this fresh one. And I always brush up, like from that bottom line, I like to brush up and bring the product up into the rest of the brow so that I'm not really blocking out the entire thing, even though a lot of Instagram brows do look like that. I am just gonna bring the product up with the spoolie. Also, I kind of want to make this sharper, so a lot of times I'll just drag the product out. It's really nothing, like you don't need to add more product. This stuff moves pretty easily. You see, it just kind of moves by itself, so you really don't need to add a lot of product. All right, so I'm gonna do this brow and I'm gonna show you how I do it. I do sometimes when like the front part gets a little out of hand, because it's easy to do, honestly, I take my finger and I just like press it in to take off excess product. I know it seems kind of weird, but like it's like one press, and then if I wind up taking off foundation, because as you can see there's like a fingerprint right there, I just take my beauty blender that I used earlier and just blend it out. Like usually I wouldn't have all this makeup on while I do my brows. Generally, I do my brows right after foundation and everything, so it's a little out of the ordinary for me. When it comes to carving out my brows, I don't always do it. I don't usually do it. I mean, sometimes I do, honestly. But when I'm going for perfect brows, I do. So I'll show you guys how I do that. I just take a really small brush with some concealer on it, and I usually don't go for like something like this. It's really light. I go for something more like this. It's just not as light. So I just kind of go under. I always start on the arch because that's where I'm okay with having the most amount of concealer and having it be as opaque right there. And then when it gets to the beginning part, I just take the extra. Alright you guys, so that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you weren't too skeeves like I was. I was like looking into the monitor like, ugh. I just don't want to see my brows that close up. It just kind of grosses me out for some reason. I don't know, whatever. I know that this is like a really like controversial type of brow, but if you're into it, then it's all you, you know. I have, like I said, I've been trying my hardest to grow out my brows so that I can do like that natural like supermodel like overgrown brow look, but it's taking me so freaking long to do. So in the meanwhile, I'm just continuing with Instagram brow because it's what I know and it's easy for me. So yeah, hopefully you guys can take something from this video and learn how to do an Instagram brow. Or if you don't consider this to be an Instagram brow, then just learn how to do brows in general. Anyways, yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I make new videos every single Sunday and Thursday, usually Sundays, always Thursdays. So yeah, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, see more, you know. Anyway, I will see you in my next video. Bye.